Hey guys, Franz with Forman Motorworks. Today we're going to be talking about the Lamborghini Huracan rear-wheel drive coupe, otherwise known as the LP 580-2. Now what makes this car so different than the regular Huracan? Well, for starters, this car is rear-wheel drive only as opposed to an all-wheel drive system like the 610-4 model has. The car is also about 31 horsepower less. However, the power-to-weight ratio is virtually identical at 5.7 pounds per horsepower versus 5.9. Now, that 73-pound difference between the two cars might not sound like much, but the rear-wheel drive Huracan has been referred to by many automotive journalists as the best driving Lamborghini ever made. I tend to agree with them. You immediately feel quite a bit less push in the front of this car when you're taking it deep into corners at speed. The car is 73 pounds lighter and therefore much lighter on its feet and more fun to drive. One of the other huge benefits of the rear-wheel drive coupe is it's $40,000 cheaper than the regular Huracan is. Now you might think $40,000 less, rear-wheel drive versus all-wheel drive, 31 horsepower difference, it must be a substantial performance difference. Not the case. 0 to 60 on the regular Huracan is about 2.8 or 2.9 seconds. And on the rear-wheel drive car, you're looking at 3.2 to 3.3 seconds. 200 mile an hour top speed is nearly identical on both cars, give or take a couple miles per hour. The 0 to 100 time on this car is almost 6 flat, with 124 miles an hour coming up in 10 seconds flat. Serious performance numbers. The 5.2 liter V10 that comes in this car is making 571 horsepower, and it sounds absolutely unbelievable. No turbos, no supercharger, just a naturally aspirated power experience, perfectly linear power band, all the way up to 8,500 RPMs. The car is absolutely brilliant to drive. Now that we've talked about a lot of the fit and finish and performance figures of the car, what do you say we go out and go for a drive? I think Lamborghini has done such a great job with the Huracan in making this car so usable and daily drivable. I mean, you've got a 5.2 liter V10 making close to 550 horsepower with a 7-speed dual clutch paddle shift automatic. And the car is, I mean, it's when you're not trying to just ramp on it all the time, the car, you could daily drive this car so easily. And I think that's one of the beauties of what Lamborghini has done with this drivetrain. Normally you think of an Italian supercar as being something that you kind of almost have to psych yourself up to drive, like you have to prepare yourself for the discomfort. But even starting with the Gallardo, Lamborghini has totally turned that notion on its head. And made this something that is super usable to live with. Even as simple as the transmission settings, you get in, you toggle the right paddle to get into first gear, and then you're in full automatic. Or you can switch the manual button, which I'll do now, put it in sport mode. Now you can hear the revs building. Sport mode also activates the louder exhaust setting. You're up well over 100 miles an hour, just, I mean, at the absolute drop of a hat. And yet, then the car settles right back down to a super usable vehicle for going anywhere you want, from canyon carving to date night. The car is total perfection. Now let's talk pricing. As I mentioned, the rear-wheel drive Huracan is about $40,000 less than a comparably equipped all-wheel drive Huracan. This particular car here had an MSRP in the $225,000 range and includes some really nice upgrades like the Techno package, front-end lift, deviated stitching, as well as the branding package. To go even further, we've added a Vorsteiner carbon fiber rear wing that looks very similar to one like you'd find on a Performante, as well as the 20-inch upgraded Vorsteiner bronze satin finish wheels. So when you're rolling down the road in this car, it has a ton of presence. I hope that you've enjoyed today's tour of this Lamborghini Huracan rear-wheel drive coupe. Truly one of my favorite cars on the road today. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to mention them in the comments section below. And if you like this content, go ahead and hit subscribe, as you'll be notified of future content as soon as it's been made available. Again, this is Franz with Forman Motorworks. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you out on the road.